pediatric rights in medical cannabis and started my journey of changing minds, especially legislatively, where kids' rights are ignored because they have no idea cannabis could help sick children like me. One day I lost my tooth and I went to show my mom where I'd lost it from. I had not told her they were all loose until then. My mom took me to doctors and nobody could figure out what was going on. I failed breathing tests, so they gave me inhalers. My face was changing fast and it was getting worse. Finally, bone tumors were discovered. They were eating away my bones. My tumor team called all over the world to figure out what to do. It was not slowing down. I had tumor debulking surgery. This surgery was to remove as much tumor as possible in surrounding bone. My tumors had eaten away my palate, maxilla, sinus, left cheek, and the bottoms of my eye orbits. My face was like a potato sack after surgery. My teeth were stitched into my gums, but they flopped around, and I was warned they would not live. Denosumab and interferon are the standard pharmaceutical therapies used to treat aggressive giant cell granuloma. Denosumab is used for bone cancers. Interferon is an immunotherapy drug used for cancer also. All have serious side effects, 18 to 21 each. The interferon can even cause autoimmune diseases and lupus. After a lot of discussion, I was given a watch and wait period. I would go on something as soon as the tumor left behind grew. My mom had other plans, though. My mom felt that cannabis could help me heal and help me with this tumor. We were not comfortable with the treatment options available. After my post-surgical scan, I started cannabis so that we would know if it was working. We saw results in my pain and swelling right away. We also saw tumor shrinkage on my follow-up scan only a few months after starting cannabis. Today, my tumor is considered stable. I get regular bone and brain scans to check for any reoccurrence. I'll continue to get these scans until I'm an adult. It's very hard knowing what made me better and seeing other kids who could be helped by it but cannot access it. I realized very quickly that this was a human rights issue and that it was not fair at all. So I created a 501c3 to help give kids a better quality of life by educating, advocating for safe access, and supporting research of less toxic therapies. Parents needed to be educated that there were other alternatives and tools available. Doctors needed this education too. I started off needing to first try to save kids by passing laws, kind of like triage, do what will save them faster because they were steadily getting sicker, then go back and work on research and more education. I needed to make medical cannabis legal for children. I had to convince a lot of people who were against it and did not understand it could help children who are sick. A lot of legislators were against it because of religious reasons, the ways they were raised, and the stigmas that still go around today. I got to spend time with each legislator and talk with them about their concerns. Reilly's law got unanimous votes in the Senate and the House of Representatives. But not all doctors were on board, including my new neurologist that I had to switch to in my state to get my medical card. You see, our cannabinoid system is not taught in medical school, so many do not understand and believe the stigmas about cannabis. She wanted to prove cannabis was bad for me. I had terrible seizures during this time. I wanted to go back on my cannabis that I called medicine and stop having them. During a car ride, my mom secretly videotaped me trying to be back on my medicine just because I wanted to feel normal again.
I've only been off the medicine for a few days. I know.
to make it so that we could have our medicine and go to school too. I was able to walk off of school property, and it was still hard to do every day. Imagine if you were in a wheelchair or dragging an oxygen tank through the snow or in a lightning storm. Children should not be singled out just because they need cannabis as medicine. So I went back before legislators and told them what the problems were. With more convincing, this bill passed through both chambers also. This was just the start, though. It made me more determined not to give up. If I was having this much trouble, I knew that nobody else would fight for children like me. I continued bringing up problems that as a young patient I was experiencing and hearing about.
Those no votes and had her tell her story. And I'm going to tell you something. She handled herself with such poise. She was the best witness you could ever get, sitting in front of a bunch of, I'll be nice, legislators. And we passed that bill unanimously because nobody could look her in the eye and tell her no.
More kids still needed help. My foundation wrote a 263-page petition to add autism to our state's program. Autism was a big deal, but we had always wanted to give pediatricians the power to qualify conditions supported by clinical research that would benefit from cannabis. This type of law would also force medical doctors to study cannabis and its benefits for their patients, which was an ulterior motive of mine with this one too. This is just a short clip of me discussing this idea with Senator Lopez. This discussion turned into a law that is now called compassionate care. These children suffer from conditions such as orphan bone disease to retinal deterioration, and they are children I had in mind when lobbying for this law.
It will add that your doctor can determine if what is wrong with you is a qualifying condition.
Oh, I'm glad this is here. Good. All right, I appreciate this. This is really helpful. Sometimes as legislators we get so much information we get inundated by it, especially all at once. It's kind of like going into a fireplace and just trying to get as much of a drink as you can. So it's just always nice when people can lay it out for us. And this is really helpful. And I appreciate it a lot. But I can't begin to how amazing proud I am. We all are as adults. So, Sean is the most unanimous supportive of any piece of legislation that's, again, in these very divisive times. She was able to bring everything together. And that's what I love about Ryllie. All right.
My first goal has always been to make legal access better for all children and to educate. My second, to help drive research for rare pediatric diseases. My third, to make quality medicine more affordable with purpose. My second goal is one we have been working on for quite a while, and I will get to that.
So sorry, Riley, I'm so sorry. So whoever parked over in the attorney's lot, they're towing cars. So if you parked in their lot, the tow truck is there, please go get your car.
Is that from the garage?
No, the garage, you're good. So there's 2 cars on the rig right now, they're saying it's from this event. So, sorry, Riley, sorry, y'all.
The third, we were finally able to begin this past spring on our family farm with a cultivation and processing license. Patients should never need to decide between their health and going completely broke. This is my 75-year-old pup-up who was against medical cannabis before I used it. He now helps to watch over our cultivation. These were some of the baby plants under his care this past spring. And if any of you have ever heard me speak of a sheriff uncle who is still set against all of this even though he has witnessed me escape death twice, he will soon have 25 acres of my plants growing around his property. Sometimes it takes extra time to win them over. It'll happen someday though. Why do I say to make quality medicine with purpose? It's not a matter of growing plants just to make more oil. It is also growing or developing specific phenotypes for specific targets that will be beneficial. In our case, we are growing for our research targets and helping to revitalize our local economy. The second goal I mentioned that we have been working on is driving research with data collection. I wanted to show you just a few of the awesome kids we work directly with. This is Caleb. He suffered from severe traumatic brain injury at 6 months old and was left in a vegetative state with no hope of ever recovering. Today, even though Caleb may be cognitively behind and has seizures which his CBD helps control, miraculously he can do everything he was not supposed to do. This is a video that Caleb sent me. He was never supposed to speak, nor hear, nor see. He was supposed to be left in a vegetative state his entire life. Elena was diagnosed 4 days after her 8-month birthday with a disease that nobody in the entire world has. There is no treatment available. She was at first turned away for a medical cannabis card because her doctor said that it was no use and that she would only live 2 weeks. Her parents contacted us and we got involved. She soon became the youngest cannabis patient in our state, and we right away made sure that she had access to quality oils. Cannabis showed its power in her case as a medicine against a disease where there is no treatment. Cannabis helped control her spasms, pain, and GI issues that started after leaving the hospital. She led the best life possible, and her family made many memories with her, including her first birthday party. Hospice workers and family credit cannabis for slowing progression and giving Elena Rose comfort. Elena lived to celebrate 15 months. Imagine if we had the research needed for Elena. I think about her and others now gone a lot when it comes to research. Now that we have 2 companies and a growing reputation, we do get young adults. This is Leslie, who was diagnosed at only 31. She has been on non-stop chemotherapy, resulting in severe bone degeneration and kidney failure. She has had hip replacement surgery and continuous stent replacements for her kidneys. I wanted to show Leslie because we can make a huge impact on so many patients' lives. High CBD cannabis helps to manage her daily spasms, inflammation, and bone regeneration.
It's made a huge difference as far as my recovery. They have seen bone regrowth in my hips, pain relief, just different things. But none of that would not be possible without this little girl that is in this room, and her name is Reilly. And not only her, but also her mom, Jenny, their support and that they have given me as far as and guidance as far as medical marijuana in general and my health has been overwhelming, and it's unforgettable, and I can't thank them enough. But Riley, you want to come?
Connor is the first kid I was able to meet in person who was diagnosed with the same tumor that I have. So he is especially rare to me. His parents had 8 specialists tell them that without chemotherapy, it would continue to grow out of control. They reached out to us in our tumor team. After a debulking surgery, he started the regimen I was on, and they began to also see bone regeneration and tumor shrinkage. This is Connor today. I wanted to show you how well he is doing. And that's a video. Okay. Connor had his bone scans this week, and we will hear the results on Friday. It has been over a year since his diagnosis. We are optimistic for good news. One of the things that we hear a lot is that cannabis can make a child have lower IQ or make them lazy. We keep track of how kids are doing educationally so that we can dispute this when lobbying for pediatric medical cannabis. Listen to Connor's message about this.
I'm a straight-A student, and I've been invited to be in the Gifted and Talented program for 2 years straight. I'm also a competitive dancer, I play guitar and piano, so I know everything there is to being an instrumental player. Other than my child, I'm a perfectly healthy boy, 12-year-old boy. And also, guess what? I love spending time with my friends, I love dancing, and I wouldn't have been able to do any of that had I done chemo.
In fact, here are my brain scan reports for the last 6 years on cannabis, and all reports are normal despite having seizures. I'm on the honor roll year after year for 6 years. I serve as Miss Poppy of Delaware and play classical piano in addition to my other activities. You should know that kids who are taking medical cannabis can get good grades and lead a very productive life. In fact, they are able to reach their full potential with quality of life on medical cannabis. Medical cannabis matters to me because it saved my life. I started out on this journey because I could not stand the thought of knowing what made me better and able to live my best life is something other children cannot access. I've seen children in pain needlessly every day in front of me, some dying and their quality of life suffering. I cannot stop until it is made legal and accessible globally for sick kids like me. I'm in a better place today. I'm here because of my mother giving me cannabis when it was unheard of, and because of legislators listening to me beg for my life and the lives of other children. I pray that I can continue to be a strong voice for medically compromised children, and that with the help of strong advocates that we can remove the stigma and have it legalized globally once and for all. For me, medical cannabis is a human rights issue. I want to thank Women in Cannabis for allowing me to have this platform to speak for pediatric patients. Thank you.
Thank you.